Hello, everybody. This is a recent vintage baseball acquisitions video. These are all eBay pickups. Lower end stuff. Nothing here was more than 20-25 bucks. They're just things for my PC I wanted to share with you, and I feel are evidence that you don't need to spend a lot of money to enjoy vintage. Not every pickup has to be a mantle. Not everything's got to be in the PSA slab. You can get things that are cool, that you like, that fit your collection, that are still affordable. Most of these are less than hobby packs of flagship tops. So this first thing is really cool. Most of these are going to be for the knuckleball collection. There's some exceptions. But this first one is a blanket. And I really need a new holder for this. I don't have anything this size. But Nap Rucker pitched from 1907 to 1916 for Brooklyn. First the Superbas, then the Dodgers. And was a very effective pitcher. He is a knuckleballer, or at least they weren't necessarily calling it a knuckleball. But he's one of the 4 people that is credited with being kind of a pioneer of the knuckleball. So I figured this was appropriate for the knuckleball collection. So even though these are designated as B18 for B for blanket, these did come in tobacco packs. So my understanding is they were folded in half. I don't know if it was here or here. Then they were inserted into packs of cigarettes. And it's very common to find these with stitching here that has been ripped out, or little holes along the edges, because people would grab these and sew them into a quilt or a blanket or something just to make use of them. And really interesting. I don't have anything like this, so this is kind of cool. I do want to get a bigger, like I said, a nicer holder for it, top loader. This one's kind of yellow. And there's also a rare blue version of this with a blue infield. But it's about 5 times as much. And I thought, like, baseball diamonds are green, so should be green, right? And I don't know that I'm going to get everything in here today. Oh, that looks kind of ugly in the holder. But by the way, I'm intentionally going oldest to newest, just so I can keep my train of thought. So, next thing, also for knuckleball collection. This is Edwin Rommel, who pitched for the Philadelphia Athletics for 13 years in the 20s and 30s. And he was a part of the first big wave of knuckleballers in the 30s. Prior to that, pitchers like Rucker had just kind of played around with it and were still developing it. But in the 20s and 30s, and even a little bit into the early 40s, you had a large class of knuckleballers. And Rommel was one of the better ones. He won 27 games in 1922. This match book was actually issued 2 years after he stopped playing. He coached in the Philadelphia A's organization for 2 years. And then when he decided he didn't like that anymore, if the name sounds familiar, he became an umpire. And here he has a 55 Bowman. He umpired in 6 All-Star games, 2 World Series games. He umpired the last St. Louis Browns game and the first Baltimore Orioles game. And for all of you that have gone to a game and yelled, "The ump needs glasses," he was the first umpire to wear glasses in a major league game. So Edwin Rommel, and then he umpired, from what I gathered, about 10 to 12 years. And then he retired. So, very cool. That's the only time I'm going to go out of order, because this one is a 50. Here we go with a 50 Bowman. And this is Gene Bearden. And I'm actually going to be doing a standalone video for Gene Bearden because I want to talk about His history on the back, it mentions he was wounded in action on the USS Helena. And again, I'm going to do a standalone video. But I really wanted the 50 Bowman because, whoops, you know, it's a good thing this is already a 1. It's got the writing on it. Oh, and it's got a stamp on the back, too. August 30th, 1958 is my guess when someone stamped that. Maybe they even wrote Chicago AL, which was his last team on the top there. I don't know. But anyway, you get a part of Municipal Stadium here, which I liked. I also liked his 51 because that's my favorite Bowman set. But for those of you that know, in 51 they used the same artwork, but they chopped off most of the Municipal Stadium in the 51. And I didn't like that. I wanted the big section of bleachers there. So this is a really cool card, again, for the Knuckleball collection. And eventually I want to get exhibits for him. Those are really affordable because he's a common. First thing that's not in the Knuckleball collection. And this is one of those cards. I think I saw this on COG Sports Cards. I don't remember if they pulled one, but they submitted it for grading. And I just thought it just looked like the coolest card. And he's a cool guy, too. This is a Joe Adcock 52 Bowman. And it just looks like it was, I don't know. 52s have the facsimile autograph. And I don't know, whoever designed the card, if there's a natural lighter space in the fence there, and they thought that's a perfect spot for the autograph, or if it's just by happenstance, but it just looks so cool. It looks almost like a real autograph card. And Joe Adcock, of course, I should not care for Joe Adcock because he got the hit that ruined Harvey Haddock's 12-inning no-hitter, which a couple batters before that was a perfect game. Oh, Adcock hit a home run. He only got credit for a double because Hank Aaron thought it was a double, left the base path. The game was over when Adcock passed him. They initially called, I think they said he was out. And then the commissioner's office the next day or the day later said it was a double. It left the park. So he technically, well, non-technically hit a home run, but in the record books, in the history logs, he had a double to win that game. Also, 4 home runs in 1 game, Joe Adcock. So he's got a couple cool stats for his power. And he's with Cincinnati there. That's before he went to Boston. 2 more cards here. Again, these are just fun. They're just cool cards. They're fun. I mean, this, I think it was $10 to my door. This was way less because of the condition. The Bowman Rommel, that was 10 to 12. The matchbook was under 10. The Rucker Blanket was around 20, 25 delivered. I've had that for a while, so I forgot. This one closer to 15. If you watch Bowman 53's card rooms videos, those are great if you do them live. I always seem to miss them live. But there was a streak of about 4 weeks in a row where people were talking about Eddy Wahlgren. And one day I joined him with like 2 minutes left in the live stream. And I said, I love the back of the 55 Bowman Eddy Wahlgren. And I didn't have one. And he said, we spent 10 minutes on Eddy Wahlgren earlier. I'm not going to talk about him anymore. He wasn't upset, but he says, go back and watch the recorded version. And so anyway, now whenever I can, I go in there and I'll watch Alex's recordings on the way to work, and I'll drop a comment if there was no Waitkus mentions. Hey, could have used more Eddy Wahlgren. So it's a lot of fun just for that. But I really do love the back of the card. By the way, if you buy from Dean's Cards, he does his own grading there. So this is a 3. With the DC 3, I guess we'll call it. But anyway, on the back of here, if you don't know Eddy Wahlgren' story, he's basically the inspiration for the Natural. And here there's a first-person accounting of his biggest thrill in baseball. In 1949, I was shot by a deranged girl. And I like the wording of that. And it talks about how he met someone to take care of him. And I believe he ended up becoming his wife. Made a comeback. And it's a really great story. And cool dude. I've read a book about him probably 10 years ago. I forget what it was called. One more card. Another 55 Bowman. I've been on a real 55 Bowman kick lately. A Hall of Famer. Nobody ever seems to talk about this guy. Now, I'm going to reference Alex again because he's a Philly fan, so he's familiar with him. And I know everybody knows who he is, but you never hear about Robin Roberts' PCs or anyone talking about how much their dad or grandpa loved Robin Roberts. But the guy was a machine. I pitched over 300 innings 6 times. And another half dozen times where he was like 280 or more. So he's an absolute workhorse. And again, on this one, not all 55 Bowmans are this way, but this one is another first-person accounting of the greatest fielding play I've ever seen. The play came in 1954 against the Phillies and was made by Duke Snider of the Dodgers. They were 1 run ahead in the last of the 12th. We had 2 men on first and second and 2 men out. Willie Jones hit a long drive to left center field. If the ball were to fall in for a hit, we would lose. We would win 6-5. Snider leapt high against the wall and caught the ball to win the game for Brooklyn. I was in shock for the Phillies, but I've never seen a better catch. I had to look it up. It was May 31st of 1954. And Snider also homered in that game. So anyway, just a little factoid. And this one was really cheap because you can see it's been extra loved. Somebody had this card and just loved it so much. They creased it up. And now I have it. And I can love it so much. I'll take a little better care of it, of course. Proof that you can buy vintage cards for less than you spend on a couple of packs. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Learn the history of the game. Learn about these people. Learn their personalities. And love the community. Thank you so much. Until next time, remember, we don't count subscribers. We count friends.